Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. We're back with another Manchester United watch along, and it's a huge one, and it's a huge call by Erik ten Hag as he has named an unchanged team for the game against Tottenham today at 5:30. In fact, we're live in half an hour. Fantastic countdown to kick off with Beth and Faz, live with Adam at the stadium in London as well. Enjoyed watching that. But we've got all the team news and all the reaction for you, of course, as always. And we're certainly ready to go here. I think that, look, there's the team for Manchester United. As you can see, it's basically the same team. He's not messing around. He's gone with the same team. I think I predicted this morning. For some reason, I did think that he would go with the same team. And lo and behold, he has. Look, it's Erik ten Hag. He's got his own ideas about how Manchester United should be run, of course. And this is obviously his best 11 that he doesn't want to desert after one game when they won. And his justification will be, even if he thinks they didn't play badly, or even if he thinks they did play badly, he will expect them to respond. Absolutely love Garnacho, but I saw someone on Twitter today moaning because people wanted Garnacho to start and now they want Sancho to start. Grow up. It's just called form. No, the issue with saying, people are flip-flopping between Garnacho and Sancho. No one's flip-flopping. We want them both to do well. We want them both to compete and we want them both to do well. And if one comes on and does well, you should keep your shirt. And then Garnacho has to respond. It's not about favouritism. It's not about player FC. Personally, I probably rather Garnacho did have a future at Manchester United. But I feel that he was probably always going to go with this selection. I worry about the midfield. I think it is a huge risk, and I think we've all got to acknowledge there is a huge risk in the midfield, and we've got to be very, very wary of that. Just looking, I won't change the screen, but just looking at the Spurs lineup for you, they got a draw against Brentford, who've just gone and won away to Spurs. We struggled to beat Wolves, who've just been smashed 4-1 by Brighton at home. So, form-wise, I think we've got something to be worried about. But Vicario in goal, Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, Udogie, Sarr, Bissouma, Kulusevski, Maddison, Son, Richarlison. They'll be pumped up. They'll be ready to go. They've got a new manager. It's a big opportunity for them. And I think it's going to be a really interesting game as to how it pans out, because I certainly think they're going to give us a game. And I look at that Man United midfield and I'm a little bit worried, if I'm being honest. I'm a little bit worried. But as I said this morning, I've got this funny feeling it might just click today. Love the shirt, Mark, says Ali. Fantastic, Ali. Well, I can tell you what that's all about, actually, because we are actually sponsored by Boohoo Man on the show today. You can get 40% off exclusively with the code Goldbridge. I'm wearing some of my Boohoo Man clobber. I did get a little bit of wet there because I was just doing my hair before the show. Got a long evening ahead of us. I will be doing Newcastle at City at 8 o'clock on That's Football as well, where we could hit 1 million subscribers tonight. In fact, I'll be stunned if we don't. But first of all, it's Manchester United. Of course, we've got the watch along through till full time. Then we've got the match reaction. Lots to get involved in. Get your comments in. But we're sponsored by Boohoo Man for the watch along. 40% off. You can get some fantastic clothing like this with 40% off as well, using the code Goldbridge at checkout. Whether you're going on your holidays, I've just been on mine, I'm back now, boo-hoo. Football gear, five-a-side, down the gym, down the park, down the beach, get yourself some fantastic clothing clobber with Boohoo Man and an extra generous 40% off exclusively for you with the code Goldbridge. Links in the video description as well. And as you know, because it's Boohoo Man, they always come up with a bit of trivia, so today's not going to be any different. Let's see if you can guess this player. I began my professional football career with FC Zwolle in Holland. Throughout my career, I've played for elite clubs like PSV, Man United, Lazio, Milan and Ajax. While at Man United, I claimed 3 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup and the Champions League and the Intercontinental Cup. My time with Manchester United was noticeable because it came to an end after I did an autobiography which offended Sir Alex Ferguson and a certain Gary Neville. And after retiring from playing, I took up management roles and have led teams such as Reading, Feyenoord and even FC Cincinnati in the MLS. Of course, and I can see people in the chat, it's Yapstam. So congratulations to everyone who got that correct. Big thank you to Boohoo Man, as always, for supporting the channel in a very creative and inclusive way. And don't forget, a huge 40% off with the code Goldbridge at checkout. Check it out. You can use your camera phone by scanning the QR code when it goes round, or you can go through the link in the video description. Big shout out to Boohoo Man, as always. Right, let's get that stats carousel rolling around, and you can see the Spurs lineup on the screen for you there. No Harry Maguire with the squad. Apparently he's got a minor injury. Now, this minor injury might be because we're trying to sell him. And, you know, that might well be the case. On the other hand, it might be because he wants to be injured and avoid, you know, being sold. The Phil Jones tactic, really. Be injured when the transfer window's open. I had Esteban, Wizza, March and Mitoma in my fantasy team. Now need Rashford and Fernandes to do well. Bet you're jealous, says Young God. I haven't looked at my fantasy Premier League team, but I know I had Esteban and Mitoma. And I've got Rashford, Bruno and Onana. So there we go, yeah. Minor injury for Harry Maguire. Well, I hope that means that he will be leaving Manchester United, because obviously I don't want him to be there. We've got the league table on the screen at the moment. Can I, by order of design, can I remove the league table? Because for me it's a big waste of time. Should we get rid of the league table for now? I don't really think it's there. Apparently it's a minor injury in his foot, says Tony. I think it's a minor injury in his ego. He should just go. I think that's what you should be looking to do. Thank you for the democracy in the chat. We are going to remove the league table because I just think it's a waste going round there. We'll keep the stats, we'll keep the starting lineup, and obviously we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. Thank you. Love the content so far this season, Mark. Looking forward to the game. I'm predicting a 2-1 United win. Big up to you all, says Joe. Thoughts on Ange, Mark? I'm looking forward to watching it, Jude. I mean, look, as long as we win, I don't really care. I don't know whether anybody watched Wolves versus Brighton. I thought Wolves were fantastic last week, but bloody hell, we must have been really shit, because they've been battered by Brighton today. And I actually quite fancied Wolves to get something based on how they played last week. But, I mean, look, it's not always about a scoreline, but if you didn't watch the game, and I didn't, the stats are always something good to look at. 55% possession for Brighton, 16 shots each, 8 shots to 5. So Wolves weren't terrible. Wolves' problem was putting the ball in the back of the net again. So it was a demolition job by Brighton. Wolves did play quite well. They had a lot of shots. They just can't score goals. They had more corners, in fact. So it wasn't a complete and utter domination performance, but it's still a little bit worrying that, as we said, you know, a better team than Wolves in relation to finishing would have battered us last Monday. Anyway, different game today. Ten Hag all the way. First manager to have a pair in a while. Please shout out my wife Amanda and son Anthony, who listens by proxy and are now fans, says Brandon. Well, also want to give a big shout out to the Mallorca Massive. I've been in Mallorca this week, which is an island off Spain. Met quite a few people who love the community and love the channel. It's always great when we do these live shows and get out and about and meet people. Met loads of people of all ages and all shapes and sizes. Oh, pardon, no, I'm only joking. But met lots of people, and you can't help but notice when you're somewhere hot, to be honest with you. There's so much flesh out. But anyway, met lots of people, and it was great to see them. So if anyone's in Mallorca watching the game and they've got the old watch along on your phone, big shout out to the Mallorca Massive. In fact, big shout out to everybody who's out on holiday at the moment. A lot of people on holiday at the moment. Hope you're enjoying it, and hope United can provide something on this Saturday night for you as well. Not fully confident for this match, says David, but I trust the manager. If he was backed like a Chelsea manager, then we could challenge. Sale needs to happen ASAP, says David. We've had a super chat from Nick P. He says, I think Garnacho is Eric's golden child like McTominay was to Jose. Looks like he's backed him fully, and I like that. I like it, Nick. I like it. Look, I would have started Sancho. I'm not going to lie. On form, I would have started him. But I'm all for what Ten Hag has done. I am. Hope you're well. I've got a feeling it will be an open game today with us playing a high line, and Spurs will be the one trying to break on us, says John. Well, I'm looking forward to watching Ange, because I didn't watch the Brentford game, really, last week, and how Spurs play, because traditionally we think of Spurs under Conte, under Mourinho, and it's a different Spurs. Spurs midfield will destroy our midfield. Eric Ten Hag's stubbornness will cost us tonight. Hopefully their defence will be as shaky as last week, says Stev. Look, I worry about the midfield. I really do worry about the midfield. It's a concern. You know, you look at that United lineup there, and I think that's how we played against Wolves. Casemiro on his own and a front five. And Mason Mount is, you know, I like Mason Mount when he was good at what is a holiday, says the Inquisition. Exactly. I like Mason Mount, and I liked him at Chelsea apart from last season. But can I just say this before the game happens? 3 red in 3 today. Someone should be on Casemiro's ear not to touch a fly today, says Pushin. Also, we've had Carmine has just gifted 10 memberships. What a legend of the chat he is. Thank you, Carmine. But can I just say, I like to discuss things before the game actually starts. And there's one or two things I want to sort of pick out before we just wander into Ten Hag's pre-match comments. Casemiro got a lot of criticism. And off the post says, Brighton winning must be a worry after Wolves. Well, it is, but Brighton and Wolves was quite an equal game. Brighton can finish, Wolves can't, as we saw on Monday. So, yeah, look at the stats. It was quite an equal game, apart from the goals, which sounds stupid, but you know what I mean. Casemiro got a lot of stick on Monday. I defended him, and I think most people who watched the game defended him, because it doesn't matter if you're the best holding midfielder in the world. When you've got 2-3 against you, you're not go gadgets. You're not Inspector Gadget with big arms and big legs. It's impossible. It doesn't matter how good you are. If I was down the park, this is what I mean, right? If I was down the park and I had 2 of you, and as long as you were half decent at football, and we started on the halfway line, and Casemiro was the only thing in front of us, I would have a word with you both and say, split. I want you 15 metres away from me. I'm going to start with the ball. I'm going to draw him in, and I'm going to play you in. And you're probably through on goal. And if you're not through on goal, because he's quick enough to get back to you, I'm going to drop 10 metres behind you. You pass it back to me, and I'll hit it to the other guy. It's piece of piss. And we could do that as a 3 if we concentrated and focused. These are professional footballers. Wolves, Spurs. You leave Casemiro on his own. Doesn't matter how good he is. They'll find a way past him. And that's what idiots on Monday were talking about. I mean, Jamie Carragher talking about Casemiro because it's an opportunity to let his bitterness rise from his arse to his mouth. It's ridiculous. Casemiro was ran through like a hot knife through butter because he was on his own. And I'm warning you about that tonight. People will go, Casemiro was shit. Like he can do it on his own. Like Bruno and Mount were like pen pals to Casemiro. They were sending emails about what was going on. They were that far away. They were in a different bloody postcode. So, look, I watched Casemiro today. Mason Mount cannot wander forward and leave Casemiro on his own. Now, what Ten Hag might do is he might tell him to do it and tell Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka to tuck in. I don't think that worked particularly well either. So that's the second thing. Watch the fullbacks, because I don't think those fullbacks work well as the way Man City and Pep uses his fullbacks or his centre-back to step forward. I don't think we've got the right players for it. Are you going to watch the Giants versus the Cowboys, says Leo? It's only a pre-season, isn't it? I don't think it's a real season one. Owango says that Eric Ten Hag is taking some risks. Welcome to the Members Club, Andrew. You're a legend. And I don't know whether it's confidence or stubborn, but if this formation doesn't work, Eric Ten Hag will be either praised or criticised heavily, says Michael. It's the genius of a top manager. It's the genius of a top manager to back himself. I tell you, I look at that United team on Monday night and I look at it tonight and I go, something's got to change, because they are at home. And Basuma against Brentford was brilliant. So Bruno and Mount have got to not only play better. If Basuma plays like he did against Brentford, they've got to be on their top game. It's going to be difficult. Major, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. And Unruly has been a member for 10 months as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're very, very welcome on the United Stand. I don't know why our subscribe account isn't even started. It isn't working, actually. Let's have a look. What are we even on for subscribers? I don't know. I've played the game. Let's push that one in. That's what she said. Can we get that up there? There we go. We've got a subscribe account. I don't think it's right, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. I've just been catching up on some of the scores, actually. I'm sure many of you have today as well. Wasn't a great day for Wrexham. Oh, it was a great day for Wrexham. 5-5. Bloody hell. From 5-3 down, from 4-1 down at half-time, they ended up 5-all. I mean, they're letting too many goals in, but they're scoring plenty of goals as well. And Gary Neville will be happy because Salford beat Tranmere 4-3 as well. So lots of goals going on in the football today. But we're here for Manchester United, of course. I am doing Newcastle against Man City at Man City at 8 o'clock after the match reaction tonight as well. So looking forward to that. A Saturday evening of football fun with Mark Goldbridge and you. Will you be watching any of the games on Sunday, says Luke? Yeah, I'm going to do Chelsea, see how they do. Given the scrutiny of the past week, I dare the Sky pundits to pass comments on Greenwood during the match coverage. They're bottle jobs, Robbo. You know, they're bottle jobs. They're not going to mention any. Lovely bit of squirrel. Every game today had someone sent off. Who's getting sent off in this game? Says, I mean, look, very interesting point. It's almost like Howard Webb's told his referees to send somebody off, hasn't he? Have you seen Szoboszlai dive today against Bournemouth? Bet you a fiver that no one will give this half the attention Onana got for the penalty, says Mario Franco. These games, we need Amrabat. Sign him as soon as possible, says Sabatashi. Thank you very much. We've got some comments coming in from Eric Ten Hag. I just want to read you through as well. Let me just get them for you and I can read them out. So Tottenham, it's not about them, it's about us. The way we play, it's not disrespecting Tottenham, it's about our approach in every game. I've got to say, I do worry about Ten Hag a little bit because he seems to be obsessed with being right, which can be dangerous. We saw that with Mourinho and Van Gaal. And we spoke before about how, you know, he's sticking with Mount, he's sticking with Garnacho. They didn't play particularly well against Wolves, and Eriksen and Sancho did, and he's not changed it. And it shows he's got faith in those players. And they're his players that he wants to pick. Through the good and the bad, which is great. But one thing I was a little bit worried about Ten Hag is that he said this: a lot of players had a very good pre-season. The players we picked on Monday and today can do a lot better than what they did on Monday. I hope they are fresher and more comfortable with the ball. We have to perform better because this Spurs team is tough. We have to do better on the ball and in the duels. In relation to Harry Maguire, he said he had a little problem in the last training session, so he couldn't travel with us. They know what they have to do. They have to raise their level of play, and that's what an away game requires. The message to the players, we've got to do better, and it wasn't good enough on Monday, but we still won. I think that there's a couple of things here that I would say that are probably worth just focusing on a little bit and then seeing what happens. A lot of players had a very good pre-season. He's mentioned this a few times now. He can only be talking about what's going on in training in pre-season because I think we had a bad pre-season. I don't think many people stood out in pre-season, if I'm being honest. And I don't really understand what the context of a good pre-season is when you think about how off the ball we were against Wolves. Wolves were fitter, stronger and more productive. So why does he keep going on about a good pre-season? Because we saw it. We saw the pre-season, most of us, and it wasn't great. And we saw against Wolves that our fitness was nowhere near the level it needs to be. And that's what's worrying me today, is that, yeah, Wolves played better. Definitely deserved something out of the game, not going to lie. But the one thing that worried me more than anything was the fact that Wolves were so fit. They would, you know, it was like we'd run a marathon before the game and they were just fresh to go. And so he keeps talking about this pre-season. It's only one game in, but we do need to see tonight what he's talking about a good pre-season, because the passing was bad, the chemistry was bad, the fluidity was bad, but the fitness and speed was bad. And that's why Wolves looked so good against us, because they were so much quicker. They were so much sharper than us. So we need to see this pre-season that he keeps talking about, evidence tonight. I'm a bit nervous, Mark, not going to lie, but last season we always hit back after a poor performance as Matt. And look, we say poor performance. We beat Wolves. We beat Wolves. What do you make of the Brighton result, says the L dude. I didn't watch it. I was a bit worried how they smashed Wolves 4-1. But then I looked at a match report and I looked at the stats, and they had 16 shots each. And Wolves had more corners, and they had the same amount of shots on target. So really, I think that game could have been 4-3 to Brighton, could have been 4-4. Wolves just can't score goals. So I think Wolves played well against Brighton, they just can't score. So I don't think it means anything more than that. But yeah, if we played Brighton, if we'd have been playing Brighton last Monday, we'd have lost 3 or 4-0. We've had one game. How many changes do people want him to make? I would rather have a confident and decisive manager than a reactive one, says Sean. Yeah, and I think Sean makes a good point, because when you think about it, if United if he'd made 2 changes to his starting lineup for the game today, then he's already admitting defeat, isn't he? That he got it wrong. So that's what I literally just did a tweet about that to say it's I think it's, whether we agree with it or not, I think it's a good thing that he is not making changes, because it shows that this is his team. Garnacho's his starter. He sees Garnacho ahead of Sancho. He sees Mount ahead of Eriksen, and he's going to stick with it. I think it would be very interesting if Amrabat came in, because I would like to see him starting. Reese's channel says, what's your score? Well, he's gone with a 2-1 win for Man United. My score prediction in every predictor I've done has been 3-1 to United. So, I mean, I said 3 or 4-0 to United on Monday. We got nowhere near it. But, yeah, Mark, Brighton relaxed because it was too easy. That's why Wolves had so many shots. Stats can be misleading, says Moses. Well, there you go. I didn't watch the game, and they can be. You're right. To be honest, I think we're probably underdogs for this game. And the reason, based on form, I think we're underdogs. Because I thought we were terrible on Monday, and Spurs were good on Sunday against Brentford. So I'd put them as slightly ahead of us. I don't see it being a draw. So I'm going to go with the United result, a win. And we need to win. You know, the thing is, I've got, people call it moaning, people call it negativity. I've got no problem with it, because we're Manchester United. And therefore, being Manchester United, we have obviously got very, very high standards as a football club and as a fan base. And, you know, we were probably a little bit lucky against... we were probably very lucky against Wolves, but we got 3 points. If we play well tonight, we've got 6 points. And if we then, you know, we've got Forest at home next weekend, 9 points. 9 from 9. We had 3 from 9 last year. So, you know, we always must demand more. Of course we must. But we must almost... We shouldn't moan about that, really, is what I'm trying to say. The standards, we want to see better football. We were very lucky against Wolves, but we won. It's not... Manchester United's not just about winning. It's about how we win, because we're greedy. Some clubs, they just want to win. They don't care how much they win. Everton would just love to win games of football. At Man United, we've got to win, and we've got to win in the right way. And that is the most important thing. Expect a red card, says Prince. There's been a lot of red cards today. We've had red cards in every game, apparently. We certainly had a red card in the Brentford game. And we certainly had a red card in the game for Liverpool. And we did have a red card in the Wolves game as well. Nunez sent off after 95 minutes. So every game's had a red card. Get ready for one in this game. Start of the season. There you go. Lee says, I'm really interested in today's performance. Given last season's away form, we have to improve in that regard. Yes. I think this is really worth noting. Last season, our away form was effing dreadful. It was abysmal. I don't think we beat anybody away from home in the top 10. Maybe one. I think we beat Fulham, who I think did finish in the top 10. So we can't ignore that. Our away form was dreadful last year. Here's an opportunity to beat a team that finished in the top half of the table last season away from home. Do you think Mount needs time to settle in, or do you think he's just not match for the team? Oh no, 100% Jackson. He's got to be given time to settle in. 100%, 100%. Beery said we drew at Spurs. Yeah, but our record was crap, mate. Our away record was crap. Absolutely shit. Jordan has just gifted 5 memberships. Jordan Hall, you're a legend. Thank you very much for that. We're only 5 minutes away from the start of the game here. Just want to give a big shout out as well to our new show that we have in match build-up now. It's called Countdown to Kickoff. We're in the studio today. Beth and Vaz also going live to Adam at the ground before the game as well. Really enjoying that. Another string to the bow. Ricky's on the fan forum after the match reaction tonight as well. We got you covered on this channel basically. All the match day experience with the best community in the world, and that's absolutely fantastic. I think we had a call-in section as well, which I wasn't too, which was great as well. Somebody just messaged me something and now I can't bloody find it. Oh yeah, we're only 100 subscribers away from 1 million on That's Football. That was it. That's something for later. 1 million subscribers on a Saturday night, unbelievable. But I'd rather United got 3 points. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're on the road to 712,000, apparently. We're not on to 710. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. We're only 300 away. We're live for the matchday experience all the way through, before, after as well. Every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock. Get all your latest Man United reaction and news. We don't shirk anything here as well. We'll talk about Greenwood. We'll talk about the ownership, the lot. I've got a bad feeling about the referee decisions against us today, says Yellow Bathing Suit. Michael Oliver loves himself. Thank you, Harry, says Jimmy Jones, and he's a West Ham fan. If you feel Eric Ten Hag is talking like our previous managers, then I'm afraid he's going down the path of getting axed very soon, says Baron. Thank you very much for the super chats. You can do that through the $sign if you wish. We'll read those out for you. Give us your score predictions in the live chat, everybody. Make sure you smash a like on video as well. We're about ready to go here. Have I got my timers ready? Let's just give them a quick test. You should always do that. There we go. Yeah, we're good to go. We're good to go. Lots of people going with the United win, which is exciting. Good to see. Good to see. I'd love Ricky to do a watch along. I'm sure we can arrange that this season. I'm sure we can arrange that. We're open to ideas. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Yeah, look, I think it's very interesting with United. I think the 3 points on Monday were brilliant. The result was bad. And it's therefore sent us into this game not really knowing what to expect. And, you know, confidence is a great thing. But I'm a little bit worried, as I'm sure everybody is, how it can run out. Zorro says, I'm seeing another poor performance. Pap says, I forgot we have Højlund. Well, you won't forget next week because he's going to be there and ready for Manchester United. There ain't no doubt about that. He's going to be back. The bench has got McTominay and Palestri on it. There's no Harry Maguire on it. So James Maddison playing for Spurs. I put him as overrated. Mason Mount, big game for Mason. Is it a message to Harry Maguire? Well, we'll see. There's Ange and Eric having a little bit of an exchange. Right, I'm just waiting. waiting to get the timer here. This is what it's all about. Bruno's going to kick off. Let's have a look at these first few minutes. And we're off. There we go. Timer's up and running. Evening, Mark. I'm nervous for this game, says Graham. And if we play like last time, our midfield's going to get run over. Casemiro will be outnumbered again, says Chiri. Thanks, Chiri. Well, I'm also interested to see how Spurs react in this game as well. And Kulusevski with the cross early in. Wan-Bissaka loses his man. Son on the back post. Terrible volley. But the old Wan-Bissaka issue there. Losing his man straight away. On a lake in Nashville, let's go United, says Chris Cox. And look at this. It's too easy again. Luke Shaw and Martinez a little bit out of position. Wan-Bissaka a lot out of position. And it was a difficult volley for Casemiro, for Son, but he's completely unmarked. He could have took a touch. Wan-Bissaka getting caught under a cross early on. Loving the content, listening in the car. Keep up the good work, says Thomas. Thank you very much. Let's go Tottenham, says David. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Now, Man United are in. Good interception by Mason Mount. Into Garnacho. He lays it off to Antony. Over the bar. Good interchange from United there. Mason Mount winning it high up the pitch. Garnacho intelligent. Spurs trying to play out from the back. Good interception by Mason Mount. Garnacho's got options. He lays it off to Antony, who really hits it quite well. You'd want him to hit the target, but to be fair, he hit it quite well. It was just over the bar. And, well, look, I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. It certainly won't be 0-0. Liking the energy, says Stu. I like the energy from both teams. It's a good start by United. Spurs are going to play very different to the way that they played under Jose Mourinho and Conte. And Wan-Bissaka in with a foul on Son early there. John says, last time I watched you for Spurs, we lost 6-1. Well, you're either a genius or you've just given it the kiss of death. Well says, I'm feeling Mount man of the match today. Look, Mason Mount needs to respond. I think it would be great if he did. He's had a lot of criticism this week. It'd be fantastic to see him respond. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe, and please do share the video. There is a share button. You can share it on your socials. United Stand community, be a part of it. Here is Wan-Bissaka now into Martinez. Nice little flick out wide. Antony has to flick it on. Rashford, another player that we've not mentioned, maybe because he did nothing against Wolves. We know I've not seen anybody talk about Rashford this week really in great depth. I'd love to see Rashford back on the left. But yeah, I mean, he's a player that's probably dodged a few criticisms this week, mainly for me because he's playing out of position. Lovely ball by Maddison. Not a great ball, actually. Luke Shaw will win it. Mark, do you think the actions comments can be a bit much when it comes to Liverpool and United fans? Love the content, by the way, says Billy. In what sense, Billy? Mount is already playing a bit deeper, says Cam. Well, here's Garnacho up against Porro. He's gone past him. It's a good shot. It's on target, and it's straight at the keeper. Good start by this. Good start. I think there's been some promising energy. They've obviously been working hard this week. When the Spurs fans shout, "Come on, you Spurs," I instantly think of "Hey, you guys" from the Goonies, says Joshua Bellwater. Thanks for the super chat there. Also, okay, I'll ignore that one. Yeah, Man United definitely starting on the front foot here. Don't know whether we've got the stats. Well, we have got the stats going around. Remember, you can get individual player stats on the OneFootball app. We have the team stats, which will be going around there. 75% possession for Spurs, apparently, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But United have had 2 shots, 1 on target. So effective possession over ineffective possession at the moment. But you can get individual stats with OneFootball. Links in the description, or scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Get all your latest breaking football news and transfer news on there as well. Big shout out to OneFootball. But it's interesting that, isn't it? In the first 5 minutes, we've only had 25% possession, but we've used it really well. That transition that Ten Hag wants, quick transition. Bad touch by Rashford. This has invited Spurs forward, and a great interception by Varane, who was, of course, man of the match on Monday. Oh, shit. Bruno Fernandes has gone down in the most innocuous way ever, clutching his knee. Nothing happened. He seemed to fall over. Is he up? He's out. He's down. This is bad news for Bruno. He just went down. Well, no, it was a tackle. It was a tackle. I think he's all right. I think he'll be all right. I thought he'd just twisted his knee, but he'll be fine. I think he's just had a kick on the shin. I thought for a moment, I was terrified. For a moment there, I was like, with nobody around him, he's just gone over. And I thought his knee might have locked in the grass, but it looks like a connection. And as I always say with injuries, the worst injuries are the injuries where no one's around them. In that sense, he looked like he got kicked. A kick to the shin, says Top Bins, so I think he will be all right. It doesn't look like it's a knee or anything like that. Just for a moment there, you're thinking, but no, it looks all right out. Josh says, I nearly shit myself. Yeah, looking at it here, yeah, it's a follow through on the shin. If Casemiro does it, he gets a red card, but he's up. Yeah, he's absolutely fine. You can see the mark on his shin as well. He's got blood on his shin. So, yeah. I mean, that's good news. The fact that it's bleeding shows that it's... I'd like to see that again, actually, and see whether there should be... whether he went over the ball or not. I mean, Ten Hag is saying that. I mean, how is that not at least a yellow? I mean, look, the reality is, you can see from the injury, it's halfway up his bloody shin. It's got to be high. Here's Luke Shaw. Wins a corner. I'd like to see that again. I mean, look, it looked like a 50-50, but Casemiro's was a 50-50 last season and he got a red. I'm just asking for... I'd like to see it again. Gary Neville implying that Bruno wasn't committed to the tackle. Well, John, it's very obvious that Gary needs to get over his issues with Bruno Fernandes. What was it he said at the Liverpool game? He wanted to come off? Oh, I thought it looked to me like a 50-50 tackle. Spurs fans throwing things at Luke Shaw. You don't understand it sometimes. Varane's header, just over the bar. Apparently that foul was the same as the one that McAllister had today. Ben says, I love Rashford, but I hate him up front. That's the same tackle that saw red, says Kanye Films, for McAllister. Has to stay off 30 seconds as well after treatment, says Seb Watson. And McAllister got a red for that today. It's a yellow, says Shady. And Varane again, winning headers. Loving it. Dominant. Nice ball by Casemiro. Quickly into Rashford, but too slow. Again from Rashi, too slow. Varane's not slow though. Quickly back to Onana. I am doing a watch along for City Newcastle. Busy night tonight, Zetty. Hence me having a beer. I'm going to have a few tonight. I'm in holiday mode. Rashford caught offside there. How's he caught offside? He's... Oh, I don't know. Calm down. Calm down. Fader says, can Rashi hold on to the ball? 30,000 watching already. Make sure you smash a like, share the video. Welcome everybody. Man United against Spurs. How are you just tuning in? What's the news on Varane to Saudi? Says Abraham. I think that Varane and Bruno and a few other United players, I know of 2 other United players that have had their agents have received offers from Saudi Arabia. Obviously, we've heard about Varane and Bruno and they've both rejected it. But there's a couple of other United players that have been approached by Saudi Arabia and said no as well. I presume it's the same at Man City, Arsenal. A lot of players been approached. I think it's not really news. Like, Saudi Arabia would buy most of the United team if they could. But obviously they don't want to go. Spurs fans throwing paper planes. Disgraceful, says Daniel. Wow. If those paper planes have been made because we're playing Man United, it's disgusting. Obviously, reference to the Munich tragedy is disgusting. I don't know why Spurs fans would do that. I mean, what Spurs fans? I don't know. Mark, was there any news as to why Maguire is not in the squad? Hopefully he's being sold, says Darry. Apparently he's got a minor issue, injury, but hopefully it means he's leaving. A lot of people getting onto Rashi at the moment. I don't think Spurs have started off very well in this first 10 minutes. I think United have started off decent. Jordan's gifted a membership again. Well done, Jordan. Martial is on the bench, so we might see them. Anthony again losing the ball. Basuma's had a good start for them. Good play by Mount against Maddison. Look at the way Basuma is patrolling that midfield, but it's Anthony into Rashford, and I tell you what, keeper was slow there. Rashford was electric. I didn't even think Rashford was going to get there. His speed across the ground there was not hilarious. It was fantastic, and I thought the keeper was going to get there. Nowhere, no way. Look at this, lovely ball by Anthony. And it's a good save by the keeper, who I thought was going to get there first. So, electric pace by Rashford. And he's very unlucky not to score. Good save. United having all the chances so far here. Simu says, solve your internet connection, mate. Nothing wrong with my internet connection. It's not dropped once. Let's have a look at the stats. No, I have not missed one frame at all. Somebody said, well, if there are any problems with the internet, I've got my streaming service which tells me if it drops one frame, and it hasn't. And I've also got the stream health from YouTube, which says stream health is excellent. So I don't know. It's a bit glitchy apparently. I've got no idea then. I can't tell you. Could be YouTube, I suppose. It has in the past had problems, but I don't know. Mount's playing well, says Chris B. Rashi is great, just needs to settle, says Nigel. Could be a YouTube fault, yeah. Oh, another Spurs player's gone down here. Referee's wave play on. Anthony nicely into Bruno, who overtouches it a little bit. There's a handball there by Shaw, who's out of position, and the referee plays on. We've got good cover back, though. Nice to see Mount in this situation. Back helping Casemiro. Martinez does a good job and gets a high five from Anana. Adogi hurt himself there. No foul given. Something to do with Casemiro. Corner to Spurs. Maddison takes it. Crosses. Gone for a goal kick. If you're having any problems, maybe just refresh your stream. I've got it. I'm just playing it on my phone at the moment, and it's absolutely fine. Score prediction, I've gone 3-1 to United, and we've started off quite well here. I like the way the graphics change with the United lineup as well, because Mount is sitting in with... this is better from United, especially for an away performance. Compared to Wolves, it's a lot better. YG, welcome to the Members Club. Why do teams wear home kit when they're away, says Zetti? Well, they just do. As long as there's not a kit clash, you do. If Man United are playing Everton, we should play in red. Oh, Kulusevski's in down the right-hand side here. And wins a corner. I tell you what, Luke Shaw is losing Kulusevski a lot. I'm not here for that. Down that left-hand side. I think this was something a lot of you spoke about after the Wolves game, where we're sort of we're trying to tuck our fullbacks in, aren't we? And it's a dangerous game when Spurs are so adept at breaking down that side. I mean, Martinez has covered very, very well. Richarlison's not been in the game at all, so I think Varane is more than happy to be left with him, and Martinez is covering a lot across, which is probably part of the tactic. But I think Luke Shaw keeps trying to push forward and then keeps getting caught out a little bit. I went 3-1 to United, edits. Is it a different Spurs in this first 20 minutes? Yeah, I mean, look at that. You know, their centre backs right in the United half with loads of movement ahead of them. I mean, that's not normal. How about a Sean Dyche impression, says Mario. Cheers from Hawaii, Mark, says Jake. I've had to retire my Sean Dyche impression because it makes me cough. I might do it later. Basuma, good turn of pace there. And Casemiro catches Basuma. A foul and nothing more. I love Shaw. I love Mark, but Jesus, why is he so sluggish and not tracking back? Mount is running back to cover before Shaw, says Sebastian. Well, I think Luke Shaw looked a little bit off it against Wolves. Maybe he's just not up there yet. It takes some players 3 or 4 games, competitive games, to get their fitness levels up. So maybe Luke Shaw's just one of those players. Here's Mount's cross, headed away. Hello, Mark. I'm from Hong Kong. Love your show, mate. 2-0, says YG. Thanks very much for your super chat, mate. Referee says play on there. And it goes for a goal kick. Lance says, I don't think Shaw's defensive work has been that good recently. Well, keep an eye on Luke Shaw. Keep an eye on Luke Shaw over the next 5 minutes is what I'm going to do. Because like 3am says, it's a tactical thing. Keep an eye on Luke Shaw, because is he playing as a left-back or is he pushing into the midfield? He's very high up the pitch at the moment. It looks as though Mount is playing slightly deeper today, says Darry. Yes. I think at times it looks like we're playing a bit of a back three. Martinez is picking up Kulusevski and Luke Shaw is being left to get up high. Although Kulusevski's just moved across to Shaw. Watching from the International Space Station and can see Anthony's hair glowing through my window, says Colin. Oh, Basuma slips but wins it back and gets a foul. You're going down today, mate. Up the Spurs, says BS. I think you're talking BS. I think United have started off the better side here. Dunno says Ange is such a good manager. Rashford's been a bit invisible, says Mudge. And here he is, Rashford. Goes for the shot. Never going to score from there, but does win a corner. This Van der Veen, or whatever his name is, looks all right for Spurs. Good recovery pace there. Bruno's on the corner. Headed away. Anthony. Oh, well, that was all about. And Onana's very high off his line here. Both teams are awful to watch, says Robert. That's a bit early to say that, Robert. I tell you what, this is an interesting ball by Onana. He's just got to cut it back. Oh, Garnacho. Rashford's not happy. He needed to be quicker there. What a ball by Onana. But what a ball by Onana. Spurs are all over the place. Garnacho, look. Rashford's there. Out your feet pass. 1, 2. No, he took a touch. He took an extra touch. That should have gone to Rashford. 1 touch, Rashford. He's got a shot. What a ball by Onana, though. What a ball by Onana that was. Shame Garnacho just didn't see the Rashford pass that we could all see. Look at the pressing from Casemiro here, higher up the pitch. Hi Mark, will you do the Women's World Cup watch along tomorrow on That's Football? We are, Luke. Yes, you can tune into That's Football for that tomorrow. Yeah. Ball of the game by Onana, says the chat. I've played the game. I tell you, it's been a good 20 minutes from United here. Wan-Bissaka. Casemiro's going to get booked in a minute, you know. What's with all this throwing stuff on the pitch, says Mike B. I know, it's a shame. It really is. Garnacho. Bruno. Rashford. Oh, if he scores that, the pass by Rashford is absolute. Sorry, the pass by Bruno. I've got both these players. I mean, both passes by Bruno are brilliant. I've got both these players in my fantasy Premier League team. Look at that by Bruno. I mean, Rashford would have been offside. Oh, what an assist that would have been by Bruno. Oh, it was so good. It was offside. I mean, Rashford should have scored. He was offside. He'd gone too early. Good game from United so far. Yes, you've got to score, though. You've got to score. They've definitely responded a lot better. Mount's played deeper. Garnacho's been better. Here's Luke Shaw. Cut back to Bruno. Yes! Yes! Blocked by Basuma. Rashford's onside because of the new rules. How the hell would it... What? So you're offside? You're onside if you're offside? What? Just did a fart. More appetising than Anthony's hair, says JM Gamings. Do you believe we can win today? Thanks for all the great work, says Tammy. Well, United are playing better at the moment. Varane against Son. And he's got past him. And he lays it off. And it's Sarr into Kulusevski. Don't let him on his left foot. Good shot. Onana gets down well and holds on to it like a magnet. Good play. Good game. Good game. I mean, not a lot Varane can do there. I mean, imagine if it had been Maguire. Son does well. That's the danger of Spurs on the break. And Onana does his job. Yeah, I'm a bit puzzled why people say that Rashford wouldn't have been offside then, when he clearly is offside. So, good. Bissouma's impressed me again. Unbelievable that Conte didn't use him. Martinez left one in on Richarlison. We've got to be careful of picking up yellow cards. Good interception by Anthony. Played by Wan-Bissaka. Into Rashford. Good skill. Good skill. He's got to go wide. Here we go. Garnacho. He's got the time. He's got the space. He wants a handball. Referee. He won't give it. Bruno wants it. Lovely ball by Rashford. I don't know whether he should have got a return pass. You've got no chance with a handball, I don't think. Oh, it's a handball for me. That's a penalty, ref. He's stopping a goal. 100% pen, that is. 100% penalty. His hand's so high, he's waving a taxi. He's got to go and give a penalty. His hand's up in the air. He thinks he's a bloody traffic warden. It's got to be a penalty. His hand's too high. Look at how high his hand is. It's got to be a penalty. It's a shot on goal as well. That's not the angle. It's got to be a penalty, this. Yeah, we'll have this. There's no doubt. Yeah, you've got to give a penalty. Oh, fuck off. What? You're having a bloody laugh. You're having a laugh. What a joke. Clear as day. I thought it was a penalty for Liverpool last week. How the hell is that not a penalty? How the hell is that not a penalty? The game is broke. Howard Webb having wet dreams, fantasising about added time, and he can't even fix the handball rule. Fucking joke. Absolute joke. That's a robbery. Someone call 999. That's a bloody robbery. If that's not a handball, what is? It's a shot on goal that's stopped by a hand in the air. People saying we're being paid back for the Wolves game. The Wolves game was a foul. It's got nothing to do with it. You can't rule out a handball because there might have been a foul against Wolves. It's not karma for Wolves, it's incompetence. You can't write something with making something else completely different wrong. I don't care if I'm watching Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Chelsea. I don't care who I'm watching. That's a bloody penalty. I don't care if that's Martinez. It's a bloody penalty. It's just a penalty. Like, I don't care if it's against us. It's just, I have to know what this rule is. I don't understand the rule anymore. I haven't understood it for bloody ages. I mean, if that's not a penalty, what is? And I get the fact that there'll be rival fans laughing their heads off. But when it happens to you, welcome to the world of a complete and utter confusion. I just don't get it. FA putting out all these strict new rules for this season, but the refs can't do the basics. Exactly, Reese. Exactly. They're trying to add minutes on. They're trying to give red cards. They haven't fixed VAR. They haven't fixed the handball rule. Is Rashford. If that's not a handball, there can never be a handball given again, says Shane. Well, I sort of agree. VAR needs sacking off. Too many wrong decisions today alone. Never mind last week. It making more mistakes if needed. Let fans do it, says Jordan. And here they are, Spurs. Good save by Onana. And he gets it in his hands. Ivan says, the commentators on NBC said it's not a penalty. They said natural body movement and on balance. I'm so confused. His hand's way past his body, says Ivan. Oh, you know, look, CBS, Gary Neville, bloody Sky, whoever, they'll all have an opinion. It's no better than yours. I just think if you ask the vast majority of people whether that's a handball, they say yeah. Because we want consistency. He's blocked the shot with an outstretched hand. Natural hand position, my arse. It's not a natural hand position. He's up, one's up here and one's there. He's trying to tell the time. It's penalty time. The hand's pointing at 12 and the other one's pointing at 3 o'clock. Bloody dinner time, Mr. Wolf. Absolute joke. These hands are not natural. They're all over the place trying to block the ball. It's a penalty. Mank in Chicago says, does anyone understand the handball rule? Basically, now that I'm calming a little bit, it's because of this natural body movement and the distance the ball's travelled. But if you've ever played the game of football, distance between ball and hand is irrelevant once it's over 2 metres anyway. And it's basically, the whole point of the ball, the distance challenges is if it hits your hand, like, you know, and there's nothing you can do about it. But Romero is trying to block the shot. He's naturally trying to block the shot. He's like that. And he's using both hands to try and block the shot. And it hits one of his hands. That's not natural. That's not natural. His whole body shape is to block the shot. And there endeth the lesson. The clue is that. What is Romero trying to do? He's trying to block the shot. And therefore, if it hits part of his body, that's his intent. Can a centre-back save with their hands, says Bjorn. Anthony shoots over the bar. Basically, Suarez' 2010 World Cup situation is the only time a handball will be called now, says Ben. That'll get given next week. That'll get given tomorrow. That'll be a penalty in a different game. That's the hilarious thing. You know that. Look at Lewis Dunk last week. That was given against Brighton. It was way less than that. Puzzles me how VAR chooses to watch the wrong angle repeatedly when in slow mode. They had a better view, says Eno. And 1 week it's a penalty and the next it's not. Kyle, you're absolutely spot on. What's your thoughts on Mount so far, says Jack. I think he's done okay. We've got a yellow card now for Wan-Bissaka. Spanish TV was laughing in disbelief, says Adrian. Is there a rule book or the ref just guessing? Yeah, I think my big look, you've got to move on. Might take me a few minutes to move on, but you've got to move on. Wan-Bissaka's just been booked. You've got to move on, but the thing is, you know next week that's getting given. 32 minutes gone. Anyway, United have played well. We've been the better side, but, you know, you need those decisions to go for you. Every week a new rule, says Fred. Mark, even in the new rule, it's a clear penalty. The hand is outside the body and the ball had travelled, says Reswin. Rashford's not having a good game, is he? Mount, yeah, no, Mount's done all right, I've got to say. Standout players for me for United. I think Onana's done well. Varane and Martinez have done well. Casemiro's all over the place. Mount's done well. Like to see a little bit more. I mean, I think Bruno's done okay as well. I'd like to see more from the front three. Garnacho's been a lot better this week. No handball should ever be awarded again. Best league in the world being held back by the refereeing, says Chiri. Well, you say that, Chiri. The reason the Spanish commentators will laugh is because in Italy and Spain, there's no debate. That's a handball. That's just, you know, we saw that with United in the Europa League with the Italian ref. You know, Martinez goes to block a shot like that. It deflects off his knee and hits his arm. It's a penalty. Like, you know, that's 100% a penalty on the continent. So we make our own rule up in a game that's meant to be universal. You know, the VAR room need to be mic'd up, says Omar. I don't think VAR are actually at fault here. I was watching Michael Oliver, and he was basically straight away sort of saying, no, I don't think it's a penalty. VAR in shambles as always, best league in the world, but has the worst referees and decisions, says MUTV. What annoys the shit out of me is you've got Howard Webb sitting doing interviews with Carragher and Neville, and they're all backslapping each other, and he's all, I'm here to make a big difference, and we haven't solved VAR. And he's adding on 10 minutes at the end of every game. Look at me. When there's a VAR decision, I'll add a minute on. It doesn't rectify the fact that your VAR's broken. I'm fucking tired of it. It's the inconsistency. I'm tired of it. And it's not just from a Man United point of view. Every other game I watch as well, they're just screwing up the league. Last year was such a good season in the Premier League, but it was massively ruined from how good it could have been from bad decisions. Look at the Arsenal offside. Look at all the bad decisions Brighton had. You know, Casemiro being sent off on a Sunday. Bruno! Oh, is he offside? That's a sitter. Or as I call it, a shitter. If he's onside here, Bruno, and I'm thinking he's going to be... Oh, he's miles on. What a miss. Oh, my God. Well, we can talk about the penalty. But Bruno should have made it 1-0. Lovely cross by Luke Shaw. He's miles onside. He's timed the run so well. He's 6 yards out on his head and he's missed. I'm starting to see the vision with Mount. Erik ten Hag is making a remaking of Eriksen, who can not only pass but press and defend like De Jong. Mount's looked very tidy, says Sebastian. Yeah, he's played well. He's played well so far. Should be it. Hits handball. It's a penalty. End of, says Joseph. I've always said that, Joseph. Here's Son up against Wan-Bissaka. He put the cross in early, which seemed to see... What's Richarlison doing here? Diving, little shit. There's nothing wrong with it. We saw you rolling around. Spurs are nervous and can't capitalise. Not good, says 5 Cantonars. Cardboard, thank you very much for your super chat there. Just joined. Glad to hear we're better. Marks as enjoy writing. Look at Richarlison here, rolling around like a bloody baby. Now, get lost. Absolute. Who would want a forward like that? I truly believe if we get that penalty, if the one against Onana got given against Wolves, says Connor. Need a striker. We need Højlund. If Kembembe's block in the 2019 Champions League match against United was a penalty, this would similarly be a penalty. His hands are outside his body from main frame, says Cardboard. Yeah, but you know what? Good tackle by Anthony. Oh, he's blocking him. Shut up! Shut up, you prick! He's absolutely useless. Michael Oliver, his mum does his hair. He's an absolute joke. Absolute joke. It's a great tackle by Anthony. He gets the bloody ball. You're getting booked for getting the ball now. No, he didn't get the ball. It's a yellow card. Gary really doesn't like Bruno, does he, says Aidan. Have you figured that one out? Thoughts on penalty for Liverpool dive, says Jenks. Look, when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I don't think he got the ball. Now Bruno's been booked for dissent. It's all going a bit wrong here. Son lays it off. Hit the bar. Oh, Spurs hit the bar. I tell you what, this game's got a bad feeling to it. There's a lot. Corner. Is it the bar again off Luke Shaw? Demba Bar's made 2 appearances in 20 seconds. Twice off the bar, one from Sarr, and then one off Luke Shaw. United living dangerously here. Get rid of it, Varane. And he does. Nerve says, been seeing a lot more young kids wearing City shirts. How long do United's board think they can live off the 90s? And that's a shot wide. This one deflects off Shaw's knee. Oh my God, hit the post. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Well, there'll be plenty of people watching saying, well, you don't, just because you played better doesn't mean you deserve to win. Look at Wolves. And that's the danger, isn't it? We have been the better side. I think we should have had a penalty. But Wolves will say the same, and they lost. So, you know, we can't be feeling sorry for ourselves too much. Had the best chance of the game as well. Wan-Bissaka into Bruno. The cross, not quite right, goes back to their keeper. How long till half time? 5 minutes. Anthony's already been booked as well. Wan-Bissaka's been booked. Bruno's been booked. We've said there'll be a red card. Keep your eye on Bruno. Gary Neville will be like this. Please get sent off, Bruno, so I can slag you off a little bit more. How can an ex-United legend and captain of the club dislike a current United captain? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Spurs will... Well, look, United should be going in at half-time 1-0. The danger with this is, at 0-0, is that there's always a way back for Spurs at half-time to just grow into it. Good interception by Garnacho. No, it's not. Here's Sarr. He's going to use Basuma, surely. He does. Has a Spurs player been booked? 3 yellow cards for United, as you can see there. Don't forget to download OneFootball for free. Links in the chat. You can get all your individual player stats there. Sancho on for Anthony, says Gian. Here's Richarlison. Wan-Bissaka needs to just boot that away. Does well. Gets it out for a throw-in. Rashford's not offering anything, says Oscar. Yeah, I'd like to see Martial on if he's fit. Rashford is really not a striker. It's so hard for us to get up the pitch. Another shot from distance. He just can't hold the ball up, Rashford. I like Rashford. I like him on the left wing, but he can't hold the ball, so he can't relieve the pressure. NBC showed Richarlison's price as the base 70 million and included Anthony's add-ons and said he was 100, says Sebastian. It's called an agenda. That's what it's called. Nobody takes Bissaka on, and I'm here for it, says Frank. We need Rasmus ASAP, says Detta. He'll be back next week. Another bad pass out from the back from United there. And another foul. Jimmy says Neville speaks the truth on Bruno. He's a terrible captain and he's always moaning. If you're old enough, Gary Neville never stopped moaning. In fact, he's just a big moaner. That's all he ever used to do. Roy Keane never used to stop moaning. Paul Ince never used to stop moaning. Steve Bruce never used to stop moaning. I don't know where this moany, we don't want a captain that moans. That's what your bloody captain's there to do. I don't know why Michael Oliver is booking Bruno Fernandes either, because the rule is now that you can't crowd the referee, only the captain can do it. So the captain's taken issue with the linesman and gets booked. He's a prat. I've never liked Michael Oliver, and I've never liked Michael Oliver since the day he sent Chris Smalling off, but let Joe Hart run the length of the pitch and put his head on his head and did nothing about it. Take your time, Bruno. Anthony. Casemiro, good defending. I like the way he Casemiro's breaking from deep. 40,000 watching, by the way. Legends, make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, I haven't changed the number, but we are only 10 away from 712,000. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with the United Stand. Got match reaction, player ratings, where you can mark each player out of 10. It's all done by yourselves. And we've got the fan forum where we've got Ricky on in the studio as well, a bit later on as well. So lots to get involved with. Only 3 minutes added on at half-time here for this game. And it's been a good one from United. I can't lie. I've been impressed with it so far. But we just need that goal. It's murder on the dance floor. Our best playmaker is Onana. Who said that? Onana's probably had a very good game, if I'm being honest. He's in my fantasy Premier League team, yeah. I mean, I've got to be... I mean, look, there's still half a game to go here. Half a game to go. But I've got to be fair here. I think that... I know a draw might not be a terrible result for United, but we're a long way from that. And I just don't think it'll end 0-0. I'm old enough to remember Neville running away from Vieira and Keane, had to protect him. If you have an issue with Bruno, talk to him like a man, says That's Piano. My experiences of Gary are that he does run away from conversations that he can't, he thinks he might lose. He likes to surround himself with yes people. Casemiro, lovely switch of the play into Luke Shaw. Sorry, but Anthony is an Ajax-type player, says Cab. Here's Garnacho. There's a lovely switch if he can see it, and he has seen it, into Bruno. He's got some space. He goes to the back post. Oh, it was just on its way towards Rashford, and it's gone for a goal kick. We need a little bit more quality in the final third, says Simran. You know what? I actually think Bruno's had a really good game. He should have scored, but I do think he's had a good game. Martinez makes the tackle. It's gone to Spurs for a throw. Well, we'll certainly be looking at the half-time. Well, it is half-time. We'll certainly be looking at the handball. No doubt about that. Bruno's miss was bad. And lost my passion a couple of years ago. Listening to you brought my love back for the club and brought me close to my granddad once again. Thank you from Dublin, says Luke. I love it. I love that. I think, you know, one thing I hear about this community all the time is the fact that it reignites people's absolute passion for the club. The commentators on NBC said it's a penalty. So no, we've done that from Ivan. There is a definite improvement from Monday's performance, in my opinion, but I feel we lack cutting edge in the offensive third, says Sumi. Let's get the player ratings up. Don't forget, by the way, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. As you can see, I'm wearing my Boohoo Man top. You can get 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Check it out through the link in the video description. Big shout out to Boohoo Man as always, and you can also scan the QR code when it goes round. I'm going to get the stats up on the screen though. That's what I want to have a look at. We've hit 712,000 by the way. Thank you everyone for that. So there's Boohoo Man. Scan the QR code or go through the link in the description. 40% off with the code Goldbridge. You can get all sorts of clobber like this for your holidays when you're down the gym playing five-a-side. Some fantastic stuff you can get. Big shout out to Boohoo Man. So let's go stats. Let's go stats. Let's go there. Okay, so 57% possession for Spurs to 43. We've had 14 shots to their 7. We've had 3 shots on target each. We've had 4 corners to their 2. I think we've been the better attacking side, and I don't think anyone could really moan about that. I think the big problem for United has been 2 things for me. One, the quality of chance we've created in the final third could have been better. I think Rashford was very nearly on the end of a really good cross from Bruno. Bruno was on the end of a brilliant cross from Shaw, and he should have scored. So we should be winning 1-0 anyway. We've had the better chances. I know Spurs hit the bar, but that was it was a decent shot, but Bruno should have scored. Rashford should have been onside, and he should have scored as well. Rasmus would love some of these crosses, says Caleb. Team is begging for a hold-up number 9. What is handball anymore, says Skydiving. You know what? I think that I like Rashford off the left. Stupid yellow card, says Stephen as well. I think the referee's been appalling. We'll talk about that in a moment in relation to the handball. But with Rashford up front, it's a little bit like playing with 10 men. He can't hold the ball up. Now, he does have his strengths if you play it into the channel and it's a sprint. And if he gets into a one-on-one, he's a very good finisher. And that was another chance as well. Keeper made a very good save. I forgot about that one. So Rashford's valuable when you can get Rashford into his strength areas, which is running onto the ball and getting a shot off. But that's such a small percentage of what a number 9 is. A number 9 is not just running onto a ball and shooting. A number 9 is holding the ball. It's physicality. It's running off the ball. And Rashford just doesn't do that because he, to be honest, he doesn't know how to do it. He's a winger being asked to play up front. He can't hold the ball up. He can't get physical with the centre-back, and he can't make unselfish runs to create space for others. He won't do it. He's a selfish player. He's a selfish winger. Anthony up front would be the same. Wingers have a different mindset to a striker. Now, someone like Højlund, someone like Kane, someone like Lewandowski, someone like Martial, they will run off the ball all day to create space for others. So we haven't got a striker who can hold the ball up. We haven't got a striker that will run for others. And we haven't got a striker that will get physical. So we are basically playing with 10 men a lot of the time when we play Rashford up front. It was a huge problem against Wolves. It's not been such a problem today because we've managed to create other chances. But I really would be thinking, how fit is Martial? Even if it's just for half an hour, you could put Rashford on the left, maybe put Garnacho on the right, and take Anthony off and put Martial through the middle. And I think having a striker that's used to playing with his back to goal, a bit physical, can make unselfish runs, I think it would change this game because the game's there to be won, but we're a little bit one-dimensional. We're relying on, really good... I mean, we should be 1-0 up, let's be honest, but we're relying on creating goals in different ways because we can't get the ball to stick with our striker. Mark says, Slow Sports News, I'm angry. This is a joke. Penalty, no handball, deflection, they're throwing. These refs and VAR need to be reviewed as it is wrong. Do you reckon we should change second half, says Warrior? Well, I'd make that change as soon as possible. I'd try and get Rashford on the wing and get Martial on. Wonder if these refs will be dropped for next week after getting the penalty decision wrong, says Darren K. If it isn't a penalty, what is, says David. Look, I genuinely think that when you listen to I've played the game FC, they'll say it's not a penalty. But if it's not a penalty, why did we see the penalty given against Lewis Dunk last week? Why will we see penalties given for handball all season that are less than that? It's the most blatant penalty I've ever seen because Romero's only intention is to block the shot. And this is why common sense just doesn't exist in football because they're just showing the chance for where they've hit the bar, which it was a good shot. But Romero is trying to block the shot. That's all he's trying to do. It's not hit him on the hand. Sometimes a cross comes in and it hits someone on the hand and they just stood there like that and it hits their hand. That's what they mean when they say body in a natural position. But Romero is trying to block the shot. His hands are. He's telling the time. It's 3 o'clock, Mr. Wolf. One hand's up here, one hand's over here, and it hits his hand. And he's making himself purposely big. They say it wasn't intentional. The penalty is intentional, says Shahin. Well, how can it not be intentional when his intention is to make himself big to block the shot? It's just that's all I'm going to say. By the letter of the law, it's a penalty. His hand is away from his body, says Tony. 300k attacker can't hold the ball up. I don't foresee players like Salah having this much of a problem. Should they be played slightly out of position, says Julian. Well, I don't know about that. Might be controversial, but we need the low on for Wan-Bissaka, says Johan. Paul says it's not a penalty because it wasn't given. Thank you, Paul, for stating the obvious. Mark, common sense doesn't roll with these refs. If that was the other way, it would have been a penalty, says Slow Sports News. MUFC, thank you. And look, I reckon if that had been given to Spurs, it might have been given because it was a penalty. And I wouldn't even be resentful of it. If that's happened at the other end with a home crowd, maybe the referee does give it. But that would be right to give it because it was. Rashford to the left, Sancho to the centre, Pellistri to the right. They haven't even shown the handball on Sky. That's just how intelligent they are. You know, if David De Gea hit a long ball from a pass back, they'd be talking about how crap David De Gea's passing was. They've not even shown a blatant handball on Sky. Absolute joke. Rashford to the left, Sancho to centre, Pellistri to the right, says Paul. No. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous that they haven't shown that. But look, the decision's gone. I'm doing a Romero myself now. The decision is gone. People will say it's karma because of what happened at Wolves. Look, the great thing about that is that's going to happen to your team very soon. I said this last year and it did. Everyone who laughs that United didn't get a penalty, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, Spurs fans, it's coming to you very soon. You can't laugh about bad decisions like that because it will come to you. It happened to everybody last year and it'll happen again. Howard Webb's obsessed with his bloody added minutes and he hasn't even fixed VAR or handball. Ridiculous. Mount and Casemiro standing beside one another. Fernandes and Rashford doing the same. Need positional discipline off the ball, says Steve. And Damo says, I think it was close, but I don't think it's not been given because it wasn't a handball. I think it's distance. I think they deemed him too close. Yeah, and that's completely idiotic, Damo. Not you, but if that's the reason, and you might be right, I'll go back to the point. What does distance matter? It's the intention of the player. If I'm stood in the box and someone blasts the ball at me from a metre away and my hand's like that and it hits me on the hand, that's fair to say that there's nothing I could have done and it was distance. But Romero, distance is out of the way because all he wants to do is block the shot. Like, his whole body movement is to block the shot. Distance doesn't matter. It's intent. His intent is to block the shot. And he does with his hand. McTominay gave away an identical one against Chelsea last season and there's no consistency, says Steve. Out front three, barely have a brain cell between them. Zero link-up play, says Duncan. And Natalite says that they showed the handball here in the States, but no common sense opinion on it, just stated the ref ruled no penalty, says Natalite. Mate, I'm sorry to be doing this at the start of another season, but the quality of punditry is shite. It really is rubbish. Like, Jamie Carragher's one of the main pundits. You have him in America and we have him in the UK. His big article this week was slagging Casemiro off for no reason. I mean, this is a guy that, is not a good pundit anymore, in my view, because he spends most of his time being a bitter person about a club he doesn't like. I can look at Liverpool and say Salah's one of the most underrated players in the world. I think Darwin Núñez will come good. I think McAllister's a brilliant signing for them. I don't like Liverpool, but I can be subjective, objective and pragmatic. The trouble with punditry in general is they're bitter. They're bitter. I mean, look at Gary Neville in this game, moaning about Bruno, the captain of United, because he's bitter about him and he wants to be proved right. I can't be doing with that level of punditry. They change their weather like they change their pants. They change their decision like they change their pants. There's no consistency, which is why content like this thrives. Because even if you don't agree with it, we will discuss it in a more pragmatic way and say, look, even if you don't think it was a penalty, you've got to agree with me. Even if you don't think it was a penalty, I'm right when I say next week it will be given. So, we're actually all on the same page, whether you think it's a penalty or not, and I 100% think it is. It's a penalty for me, but even if you think it's not, all those people who are going, it's not a penalty, it's a good decision, next week it will be a penalty, and then you'll be angry. So, and that's my point. There's no definitive answer. If we knew that wasn't a penalty, we'd all be going, it's not a penalty. But we don't, because there's never any bloody consistency. Today it's not, tomorrow it is. Today, Bruno has had a tackle on his shin that's cut his shin. Somebody said it's not that dissimilar to McAllister and he got a red card. And that's what I mean, it's on the same day. The inconsistency is ridiculous. And people will say, well, it's very hard to do it, Mark. It's very hard for consistency. How is it hard to have consistency when you've got a system called video review? Like, you can literally go, you can sit there a month before the season and go, last season, this is a handball. This season, it's not a handball. Be consistent. Last season, that tackle would be a red card, a yellow card. This season, it's going to be a red card. It's consistency is the easiest thing for Howard Webb to achieve, and yet it's mission impossible for some reason. You literally have a guideline of, this is a handball, this is not a handball. This is a red card, this is a yellow card, and you follow consistency. So why is it week in, week out? That's a handball today, tomorrow it's not. That's a red card today, tomorrow it's not even a foul. That's what fans get pissed off with. VAR is not the problem. It's the people operating it. They don't actually have a rule book that they follow. They make it up as they go along. And this was why VAR needed inventing in the first place. Because referees were being so inconsistent because they were just human. And one referee would think that's a penalty and one wouldn't. So they brought VAR in to provide consistency. A second opinion with a rule book in Stockley Park. And it's still inconsistent. Divi, welcome to the Members Club. That's more of a penalty than the one that was given against Grealish in the FA Cup final, says C4. PGMLL decided it already had to have a go on Man United, says Sal. Michael Owen and Glenn Hoddle say it's not a penalty, no consistency at all, and I feel we've become a bit like Wolves in the final third, says damn it. Yeah, I mean, it's a good comparison. We're just not... we knew this from last season, didn't we? That, we knew from last season that United was struggling to score goals, and we are struggling to score goals. We've scored one goal in a game and a half. I know it's only just the start of the season, but regardless of a penalty, we should be winning. When I saw a replay started celebrating a stone cold penalty, I bet they're going to use could Goddard it wasn't a clear and obvious mistake, says Bozo. And how on earth it's a penalty, says Desiree. Well, they've not even shown a replay of it in the UK. Not even shown a replay of it. Which is baffling. It's baffling to me. I've played the game. Anyway, my major concern in the second half is that it's 0-0 and that Spurs can only get better. They actually finished the half quite strongly. So, yeah, that would be my concern. Spurs are at home. They're not losing. And they may well... improve in the second half, so that worries me a little bit. No changes for United as the players come out. Ali says, where was this energy for the clear penalty against Wolves? I don't think it was a penalty against Wolves, mate, and it was that was a debate about a foul. This is a debate about a handball. There's no correlation, mate. There's just your bitterness. How can I compare a handball to a foul? They're not the same thing. They're not the same reason. So all you're doing is exposing yourself as very bitter because you're trying to compare something that's not the same. Like, they're just not the same. One is for handball and one's for a foul. So where's my energy for this and where's my energy for that? They're completely different. Man United players in a huddle here. Ten Hag coming out. Not even shown the replay on Sky. Not shown it. Not discussed it. Don't want to do it. Guarantee if it was against United, they'd have spent all time talking about it. Right. Referees are out, ready to go. Second half, Michael Oliver. And off we go. 45. Lovely stuff. We are terrible, says Ben. Anana and Martinez, best players. Rashford, I swear he walks, cries too much. Bruno and Mason are running more than him, says Ben. Why Erik Ten Hag signed Mount is beyond me. He couldn't get in the Chelsea team last season and we spent 60 million on him. We could have got Kane for an extra 30 instead of a 19-year-old kid. I worry, says John Smith. And it's impossible to be a top football team without a serious backup striker, says Vrish. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does here in the second half, because I would like to see if Martial's got some level of fitness, which he clearly does, to be on the bench again. I would like to see some more. Honest thoughts on Anthony? Look, I've defended Anthony a lot, but this season needs to be a lot better. It can't be. Ten Hag said it himself ahead of the Wolves game. He can't be good some games and bad the others. You know, it's got to be more consistent. Inconsistency will kill us. I mean, look, Anthony's first half wasn't bad. There were bad bits and there were good bits. I mean, he played Rashford in for that chance. What's that pass by Wan-Bissaka? Bloody hell. Mount does quite well there. He's Shaw. Oh, and he's had a bad touch as well. Rashford, bad pass. Now, he's out of position here. But it's gone for throwing. Anthony being sold, he should be suspended, says Jordan. What's happened to Casemiro? He's leggy and lazy. He needs to cut down on the McDonald's, says United Finn. Look, sometimes people do super chats and we read them out, but obviously that's the biggest load of shit you'll ever seen. I've seen Casemiro pressing in their own penalty box in the first half. So, you're talking nonsense, United Finn. Lovely play here. Maddison, this should be a goal. Oh, what an interception by Wan-Bissaka. I really didn't think Maddison was going to miss that through ball to Son, and it's a bloody good job that Wan-Bissaka intercepted that. Brilliant interception by Wan-Bissaka there, because Son was in the box on his strong right foot. That probably would have been, well, we can't discount Onana, but look at this interception. Look at this from Wan-Bissaka. Brilliant. Son's probably scoring there. First half man of the match, says Marcus. Probably Onana for me. Lovely ball by Bruno to Garnacho. He's in the box here. It's a bad first touch. He's gonna have to use Shaw. Quick movement. Quick. Back to Mount. That's a bad pass. Here's Richarlison, and they break again with Mount, and Martinez is leaving Son onside there. John Smith says, Mark, I honestly think we need Mason back. No, I'm not talking about that, John. Sorry. It's not adding anything in a game of football. Kulisevski, down the right-hand side. Goal for Spurs. I blame John and his absolute stupid comments. This is 1-0 to Spurs. It's Sarr. It's on the back post. It was always going to bloody happen, wasn't it? We've wasted the chances in the first half. We've been deprived of a handball. Take me back to the beach. I've come back from holiday for this. Absolute joke. Sandcastle defending, it looks like to me. It's down Luke Shaw's side again. Kulisevski. Bit of a deflection. There's not a lot they can do, but where's Luke Shaw here? Fucking hell. That might have been a handball off Martinez anyway. It's a good finish by Sarr, and it's 1-0 to Spurs. There's not a lot anybody can do on the back post, really. It's bounced to him perfect. Absolutely perfect. Kulisevski unmarked again. Fucking hell. I don't know what's going on there, because Luke Shaw's not even on the attack. He's just left Kulusevski completely unmarked. Come on, here's Bruno into Anthony. Get it, get it, get it. Oh, he's at the post. You're joking, ref. Shithouse. Oh. How are we losing this game? How are we losing this game? Here's Son into Maddison. He's over at that. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the goal from Spurs, I can't knock it, but it is a little bit fortuitous the way it deflects right into the path of Sarr. There's nothing Wan-Bissaka and Casemiro can do about it. The problem for the goal is the fact that Kulusevski in the first phase is left completely unmarked. But United have had the chances. We've had the chances even there. I said it wouldn't be 0-0. That's on Anthony. Great save by Onana. And now Anthony can't point at fucking Wan-Bissaka there. He's got to go with the runner. I mean, Anthony, Wan-Bissaka is marking Son. Udogie runs off Anthony and Anthony points at him. Like, you're fucking too late, mate. Look at this. Lets him go and points at him. No, too bloody late. Too late, mate. You can't do that. Spurs are rampant here. Got to ride the storm a little bit. It's a good shot by Anthony, but to be honest with you, I think he should score. On his left foot, when he's got no right foot, you'd hope that he'd score that. We are losing the game because we don't have a striker or a midfield, so give it to Mikey. Well, they've certainly been better second half, Spurs. Rashford's still not in the game. A lot of people saying it in the chat. Let's get that stats carousel rolling around. Headed by Casemiro. Garnacho clears it. Bruno. Good play by Martinez. Spurs are wanting a penalty, but Maddison, good tackle. Oh, they're diving all over the place, Spurs here. They're desperately trying to get a penalty. I haven't seen both injuries. 2 Spurs players down. United are trying to play on. Keeper gets hold of it. I don't think they're injured. I don't think they're injured. I don't think they're fouls. I don't think that's a penalty. I mean, Romero goes down clutching his leg. And that's not a penalty either. It's a tackle. Neither of those are penalties for me. Both strong tackles. Never, never, never. Anthony's tackle was strong. Martinez gave it a bit to Romero because Romero likes to give it. Biased, mate. It's football. We ain't bloody playing netball. You're allowed to make contact. Dives, both of them, diving. Come on. Fucking. If we don't score in this game, it's a fucking joke. It's got to get Rashford off. It's got to get Rashford off. It's getting tasty out there. I think Spurs are playing a clever game. They know we're on yellow cards. A few yellow cards out there. Mark, I'm going out tonight and I made a bet that if Spurs win, I'd buy everyone drinks for the night, says Connor. Just say you've got an illness. Of course you don't think it's a penalty, says Ryan, because it wasn't. And again, don't Ryan, swivel on it. You can't compare a handball with a foul. They're not the same type of infringements. You're just getting your knickers in a twist because you're bitter. Casemiro! Oh, good save by the keeper. In fact, I think it was it Varane or Casemiro? It was Casemiro. It was a good cross. I don't think he's done a lot wrong there, Casemiro. It's a good header. The keeper makes a good save. Sure, glad we prioritised the keeper and another Bruno when we so desperately need a real striker and a central midfielder, says Alligator. Fair point. Keeper did well. Here's Bruno. Crosses. Oh, it just doesn't land for us like it lands for them. Wan-Bissaka. Oh, they're bloody hell. I tell you what, Spurs should go and get a job on the West End. How much diving are they going to do? Kulusevski's gone down this time. I think he's caught him on the head with his... the best buddies in the Argentinian team, says Arj. Nah, there's nothing in that. Why are we not trying Garnacho at striker? Had we not considered it before? Also, why not try a false nine? I mean, Alex, people keep talking about false nine. We've got Anthony Martial on the bench. Just bring him on. Why are we sacrificing Rashford in his best position? I don't know why we don't have a striker, but put him in the best position. I'd rather have Bruno as a false nine, says Reese. If Martial's fit, if Martial's on the bench, he's got to come on. Quite a fortuitous goal for Spurs, to be fair. Just the way it deflects and lands right in the path of Sarr. He took it well. Not really a lot United can do defensively. I think the only thing I would say is, why is no one marking Kulusevski? RZ says, still think Spurs aren't in the top 8, Mark. No, I don't think Spurs will finish in the top 8. Why do people... Why are some people just so flip-flop? Like, a football season is based over 38 games. Spurs are winning against United after 60 minutes, and I'm meant to go, oh, they'll definitely be in the top 4. Bruno's just had a shot, but he was offside. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has been excellent today. Rashford needs to be subbed off, says damn it. And I know we want Rashford to be subbed, but I think we should move him to the left. No, I agree, Shim. I wouldn't sub Rashford. I'd put him on the left. He's been played out of position. Anyway, all you Spurs fans and rival fans can swivel on it, because I guarantee you we won't lose this game. United, it'll be an absolute farce if we lose this game. We are comfortably the better side. It's just bad luck and Michael Oliver that's costing us here. Anthony needs to be very careful. He's on a yellow card. He's had to let Maddison go. It's a lovely run by Maddison. I hope someone tackles him in a minute. I'll tell you what, Luke Shaw's just way off the pace, isn't he, today? Way off the pace. I need a stretch here. Still early days, says Christine. Yes. I think we've got the better bench. Make the subs. Come on, ref. That's a foul. Send him off. Sal Marcus offers little. Was fortunate last year, says Darren. Yeah, most of Marcus's goals came from the left, though. He's not played on the left this season. Casemiro. Lovely ball out to Anthony. Come on, mate. You got a bit of space there. What's he going to do? Oh, God. Tackled by Son. Wins it back, though. Now, another chance. Oh, fucking hell, Anthony. Tackled and then passes it to a Spurs player. Come on. Son in the box. Well done, Martinez. Edge of the box, though. Basuma. He's been impressive again. Spurs have got their tails up. Lovely skill. Wan-Bissaka. Son. Brilliant block by Luke Shaw. That could have been 2. Got to make changes here. Spurs are looking for the killer punch. Got to make changes, and fast. This is why for me, signing Mount ahead of Amrabat was a mistake. Where's the defensive midfielder? Lucas likes the Spurs goalkeeper. He's had 3 or 4 very decent saves in this game alone. Good business. Headed away by Casemiro. Still half an hour to go. Lots of time for United. But the trouble is, we saw this with United last season. They go behind away from home, heads drop. And if Spurs get the next goal, I'll be bloody fuming. Because we've learnt nothing. Kulusevski here. Don't want another full time. We've got to do better than that. We've got to go again. Is Mount playing today, says Nemo. He was all right in the first half. He's disappeared in the second half. Let's be honest. He has disappeared second half. Garnacho's naive with his body shape there. Luke Shaw. That's a goal kick. Thanks. Basuma is the player United should have signed, says Brand. Well, remember he left a year ago. He left Brighton, so... Spurs definitely the better team in the second half. No doubt about it. Yellow card for Udogie there. How's Aaron Wan-Bissaka been today, says JK? I mean, look, I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka has limitations as a modern fullback, but he also excels as a defensive fullback. I don't know whether he gives... I mean, look at that. All we've got with Rashford is the long ball. And Romero and the other lad haven't looked all game like they're going to get done by the long ball. Although Wan-Bissaka's been done by it here because Son's kept it in. Don't dive in. I tell you who's got into this game a lot more in the second half. Maddison. Basuma just wide. They're dominating our midfield at the moment. Got to get Eriksen on, maybe even Scott McTominay. He's got to do something in that midfield because Basuma and Maddison especially have just, I don't know. Good play by Mount. Garnacho, terrible first touch. The wingers have been so careless second half. It's a Jekyll and Hyde from United again. I thought first half we were decent. Second half, everyone's playing like they did against Wolves. Yusuf says Maddison's clear of Bruno. Aaron Wan-Bissaka needs to try and work on getting possession from tackles, not always a slide tackle, says JK. Anthony and Garnacho have both been liabilities in both these games. Need to see improvements. Here is Anthony. He's got to pass. You've got to pass, mate. You've got 3 fucking players around you. Need to get a new winger, someone who will look for their fullback or out across. I'm not someone who cuts in and tries to curl it. Top bins all the time, says Electro Dan. 3 substitutions here, and I can't disagree with any of them. Eriksen, Sancho, and Dalot. Garnacho's coming off for Sancho. I think Dalot will probably come off for Wan-Bissaka. And Eriksen's surely going to come off for Mount, although maybe not. I think Anthony's coming off. Delo for sure. Martial for Anthony. Put Garnacho on the right. Currently in hospital after a surgery, says PQ. Hope you're doing well. McTominay over Mount, says Cryptic. Well, Wan-Bissaka's off for Delo. I think Mount's staying on. Please get Sancho, Martial and Eriksen on, says Bjorn. Yeah, Anthony's off. So Mount survives. Bruno's gone to right wing. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Well, we've got to turn the tide here because Spurs have been the better team for the last 10 minutes. My logic is that if you're going to take off your wingers, you don't put a midfielder on the wing. You take, if you want to put Mount at 10, take Bruno off. Keep a fucking winger on. Don't put a bloody number 10 on the wing so that, it didn't work last year. I don't like it. It's basically, I don't want to take certain players off, so I'll play them out of position to keep them in. Season's looking dangerous, says Jay. Well, the way the last 10 minutes has gone. Good take by Nana. No, Mount's not playing right wing. Bruno's playing right wing. Somebody just said Mount's on the right wing. Am I blind, or has Bruno spent the last 3 minutes on the right wing and is right there now? Mount's on the right wing. Bloody hell, you not need to get yourself down, Specsavers. Get a pair of these. It's like all the chemistry in the team has gone over the summer. Not sure why we're being cut apart through the middle so easily, says United. Finn, because we're trying to implement Mount into the midfield and it's not working. Sean says, sorry Mark, but we're terrible. It's frustrating. I still feel we have so many half-hearted, lazy players, which is annoying, says Sean. I'm looking at this United team and there's no real progress since last season. You compare it to teams like Villa. Look, King, a lot of us spoke about this in May. Jose Mourinho finished second. They didn't back him properly in the summer and he was sacked by Christmas because the team just fell apart. Now, I'm not saying that that is going to repeat itself because, how can it? But we finished third and won a trophy. Have we really kicked on in the summer? Have we really kicked on? Mason Mount's one of the weirdest signings we've ever made. Anana's a goalkeeper. And that's it. Højlund's not here at the moment. We've sold Fred and we haven't replaced him. I don't think the summer has been good. I really don't. And we don't look like a team that's, Ten Hag keeps going on about this pre-season. We've had a really good pre-season. I watched it. We didn't have a good pre-season and we're not having a good start to the season again. Defy says, I'm questioning Ten Hag. He's too stubborn. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. You can get 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Get yourself some lovely clobber delivered to your door with the code Goldbridge. Links in the description as well. I think the disappointing thing is that the chance of a win, which is what I was expecting in the first half, is becoming more and more unlikely, and it's almost becoming a salvage operation here, isn't it? Why didn't he do them subs and put Sancho on the right and move Rashford to the left and Bruno false 9? Says Barry. Exactly. The fact that he's kept Rashford at number 9 is baffling. Mason Mount is playing in the most important position with the most famous number on his back for the most famous team in the world. Let that sink in, says always Rhett. Fuck, yeah, you make a good point. And obviously that's only ever going to get discussed when, you know, we're playing like this. But that number 7 shirt thing was a bloody joke anyway. We know that. I mean, it cheapens what the shirt is. Same exact team last 2 months of last season. No fluidity and killer instincts. Well, let's hope the subs can make a difference. Good play by Sancho. Really good play. Come on. Down the left-hand side. Loses it, but we'll go for a throw-in. Weren't we supposed to create more chances in progress? Hold the ball better with a better goalkeeper? I love Onana, but the problems are much deeper. Chance creation is abysmal. We don't have a finisher, says Ami. Chaos FC, says Corey. Ange, less than 6 months, plays better than Ten Hag for more than a year, and they haven't spent much. That says something, says Dim. Getting sick of these performances and distinct lack of progress, finding myself questioning Eric Ten Hag, says James. 20 minutes to go. Well, I'd happily take a point at this moment in time. I can't believe I'm watching Bruno Fernandes play on the right wing. I just can't believe it. Sean says he'd get rid of Rashford. Terrible pass by Bruno. Good tackle by Sancho. Throw in. What are your thoughts, everyone? Bloody hell. Another mistake at the back. Put Mount. Corner to Spurs. Son picks it up on the far side. Dazzo says he should put Mount on the right. He looks lost at number 10, walking about. I've not noticed. Good point. I've not noticed Mount since he went to number 10. You keep forgetting that we temporarily signed Johnny Evans and are about to give him a contract. Summer of Madness, 4 out of 10, says Terence. Thanks, Terence, for your super chat. I mean, look, I've got to be honest. Basically, this is just whether Spurs can kill the game or whether they're going to leave the door open for us to get back in it, because they have been the better side for about 20 minutes now. Since the goal, they've been the better side. Now, Rashford's on the left-hand side here. He swapped with Sancho, goes for a throw-in. I'd give that a go. Give that a go. Put Sancho centrally. He can't do any worse than Rashford. Put Rashford on the left. This tell you what, this bloody happens every year. I don't know how many of you agree with me on this. I put United players in my fantasy Premier League team. Fucking idiots. I don't know why I've got Bruno and Rashford, but the minute I take them out, they'll start banging them in against Forest next week. Bruno and Rashford, fucking nothing in 2 games. Sweaty. No, I nearly said something I shouldn't have said then. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Got nearly 50,000 watching. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. No identity, says Anakin. So look, I thought first half we were good enough to win and be winning. Second half, crap. Roger is right. Ange has only been at Spurs for 2 months. Fragmented team and lineup, individual moments FC, says Defy. I think the worrying thing is the amount of people, and I can't disagree with it, who are questioning Ten Hag, because that Mason Mount deal has the potential to be, it's got to go right. Otherwise, it becomes like Ollie's Harry Maguire. Like, he's going to stick with him. You know he's going to stick with Anthony. These deals have got to work because he spent so much money on them. Mount a priority this summer and handing in the number 7 is on the manager. I'm not here for it, even though I love Ten Hag, says Edgar. Good cross by Shaw. No one's going to be there, that. Hoyland to the rescue. I mean, we should beat Forest next week, but losing already. Bloody hell. It's away from home again, isn't it, as well? This mental block away from home that we seem to have. Player ratings will probably be out very soon as well. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. I'd venture to say that this club is worse than last year's version, says Hunter. It's been like this since LVG, hyped by new signings, disappointed 2 games in, says HC. Were we stupid for assuming that Mount would be played deeper by Ten Hag instead of being a second attacking midfielder? Says Was. It's because, like you say, we do not analyse players we sign properly. Too many of them are sunny day players, says Jake. Is it me or Casemiro drifting wider and wider? He used to roam in the centre ahead of our defence before. It now seems like he's avoiding the opposition, says Mario. Grant, welcome to Members Club. I mean, look, I think there's some naturally stupid analysis of Casemiro who, you know, I don't think he's had a bad game. I just think he's so often on his own. I mean, Bruno's given the ball up here. This could be dangerous on the break. Got to get across quick here to Perisic. Dalot, you've got to go tighter than that. Does make the interception. Maddison. I mean, look, clock's ticking it. I mean, what? You know what? What is the point in Anthony Martial being on the bloody bench for against Wolves and Spurs when Rashford plays absolutely terrible and you don't bring him on? Like, he's clearly not fit, or he's fit. And if he's fit, how can you not use him? I've got to say, I'm absolutely stunned by that. I don't see, you know, if he's not fit, then we wouldn't be talking about him. But he's on the bloody bench. Like, is he fit or is he not? I am doing Newcastle trip to Man City at 8 o'clock straight after the match reaction, and we have got the fan forum as well. So take your pick or listen to both. Spurs just passing about the ball here. We can't get the ball. I've played the game. Can't get hold of the ball here. Spurs just passing it around with ease. And now ventures in. This is Kulusevski goes for a goal kick. I mean, what's the game plan here? What's the game plan, Eric? Because this is the same as Wolves, and this is what's worrying me. For 90 minutes, Wolves just kept doing the same thing again, and we couldn't stop it. And for half an hour now, Spurs have been doing the same thing, and we've not been able to stop it. That's the worrying thing. We're not responding to the in-game tactics of the opposition. We're not answering the questions. We're not evolving. Mount. Cross comes in. It's not a good one. Casemiro with the shot. 10 minutes to go. I just cannot. What's the point in having Martial on the bench if you're not going to use him? Just can't believe he's not changed it up. I mean, I'm not saying Martial can solve world peace, but you know, like it can't be any worse than what we've done. Come on, Rashford, Mount, Eriksen, shoot! It's your former club. Too slow, too clueless about what to do. Look, side to side, we don't know what we're doing. Clueless on the attack. What's that? Bullshit ball. Clock ticks down. Martial comes on with 10 minutes. Fucking hell. Palestri and... So he's took 2 wingers off and now he's going to bring a winger on. Nagelsmann in, says Russell. Basically, he's going to now take off Bruno or Mount, which is what he should have done whenever he took Anthony and Garnacho off. We're going to go back to having a winger, which we've not had for 15 minutes because he put Bruno on the right wing. Toothless is in attack, says Daryl. Look, if we lose this game, Ten Hag will get criticised. He got criticised after Brentford last year. He got criticised after Newcastle. He got criticised after Arsenal. He got criticised after Liverpool, quite rightly. You lose a game as a Man United coach and Ten Hag would be the first to say you're going to get scrutinised. But the worrying thing for me this season is he keeps talking about what a good pre-season we've had, and I don't think we did. 2-0. The fucking hell. How's that gone in? How has that gone in? It's trickled in like a dribble of piss. That's ridiculous. How has that gone in? De Gea saves that. You're bloody right. McGran saves that. She'd rise from the dead and save that. It's absolutely shit. That is a P-roller. And the heads have dropped. We've gone 1-0 down in a game that we should have been winning. And we've let Spurs annihilate us because we've got no mentality. We're learning nothing from last season. I don't even know how this goes in. It's a crappy little cross. I mean, it's an own goal. That's how it's gone in. Bloody hell. Ah, it's just fucking joke. That's it. Game gone. 2-0 to Spurs. But you know what? You know what the big lesson is here? The big lesson is here that for some reason, these players, this club, and Erik Ten Hag cannot change the biggest problem at United. We won a trophy, we came third, but we were a bloody embarrassment away from home last year. Weak mentality. Same new season, same problem. Weak mentality when we go 1-0 down away from home. You may as well hand them the 3 points. Because Spurs score a goal, heads drop, they become the better team, we become bottle jobs. He's spent over 150 million quid. And there is no change in the mentality. And, you know, you've got to look at the manager, you've got to look at the club, you've got to look at the players. You are not going to progress when you are bottling it away from home when you go 1-0 down. There's no progression from last season. We are still... Mount goes off 20 minutes too late. 20 minutes too late. Mason Mount goes off. I don't know who Martial's coming up. Rashford. 20 minutes too late. Game's gone, people. Game's already gone. The right subs 20 minutes too late. Game's gone. Even if they hadn't scored then, you've only got 5 minutes for Palestri and Martial. Nice play by Martial. Casemiro, come on. I mean, why has Martial not been brought on earlier? In literally 30 seconds, he's done more than Rashford's done in 85 minutes. The movement, the passing. the confidence. I know he's an injury. I know he's an injury waiting to happen, but at least he knows how to play the number 9 role. Fucking joke. Same again, isn't it? First 2 games of the season, we've lost a game. Should have lost against Wolves as well. It's almost a direct replication of last year. We should have lost to Wolves like we lost to Brighton, and we deserve to lose to Spurs like we did to Brentford. Good play by Delo. It's still in. It's still in. Keep it in. Keep it in. Sancho. Shaw. Edge of the box. Who wants it? Delo. (2-0). Fucking hell. 1 goal in nearly 2 games of action. Lovely play by Palestri. Come on. Come on. Come on. Now then. Come on. That's a penalty, surely. He's skinned him. Yeah, that's a penalty for me. He's clipped his leg. Fuck off. I mean, it would have made it interesting. It's such a bloody blatant penalty. It's going to VAR. Is it going to VAR? No. It's going to a fucking sub. Prick. I'm just sorting out the player ratings. Well, it's going to be a very interesting season ahead. If you can predict it, fair play. I certainly can't. Player ratings are out, by the way. I'm just about to drop the link in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Come on. Terrible Bruno. Bruno, bad pass. Just about to hit the 90th minute here. Lovely play. Lovely play. Sancho, come on. You've got to pass it there. Pass it. I like Eric Ten Hag, but his blatant denials of problems in the press conference and then this stuff makes him look stupid, like he doesn't know what he's doing, says Sebastian. Come on, you've got to move it quicker. Bruno is clearly going to cross it. Casemiro, may as well head it straight to the keeper, which is what he did. Last year we had Ronaldo to save us from these games. It's crazy how bad we are at taking our chances. We need Højlund, says Parser. Ten Hag doing Ollie-like mistakes. United take our brain cells off managers or what, says Jay. Mount hasn't had a good performance yet. Absolutely anonymous this game, says Ash. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. The Mason Mount signing was surprising, is what I described it as at the time. I just don't, for the life of me, see why you would go for that deal before you'd bring in a more defensive-minded midfielder, which we're crying out for. I mean, if Amrabat's on your list, Amrabat should be here now because you've already got Bruno who can do the Mount thing. I mean, his choices are bloody Scott McTominay or Eriksen. Yeah, player ratings are out. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Star for your man of the match. Delo, bad cross. No patterns in the final third. Headless chickens, says Danish. Ten Hag has a lot to answer for regarding the tactics and the fitness. Bruno straight at the keeper. When you see Diam has more shots on target than the striker, hotter than the sun, says Grant. Watch the idiots buy 1 or 2 more players to shut us up. Great transfer business by backside, says Sheehan. Wait, mate. I hope people clip me up here because, I'll give credit to what somebody just said there, but we all know it's going to happen. Shit start to the season. Desperation in the window in the last 2 weeks. It's the same old script. We'll beat Forest next week. I think Arsenal will destroy us just before the international break, based off today. When will United fans wake up and realise Ten Hag is the problem? He has spent $500 million and the team still has 0 ideas on how to get to the box as Augustus plays. Look, I like Ten Hag. I think he did a great job last year. But like anybody, he's got weaknesses. And his weakness at the moment is his obsession with Rashford as a striker, which I don't think even Rashford will be happy with. And his Mason Mount obsession as well. It's baffling. I don't get the Mason Mount signing. This could be 3. Mount, good block. Maddison, good block. Cooper says, us as fans need to do more. We aren't talking about winning, is more just trying to make it in games or make it in the league. Such a disappointing day, says Cooper. Mark, salute from Brazil. Missed the old times when United ruled England, says Antonio. Thank you, mate. I mean, look, I do want to say that there are some performances out there, and please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to do the match reaction straight after this, where we'll do the player ratings, and then going on to That's Football to do Man City against Newcastle. But we have got a fan forum with Ricky and Beth and Faz on as well. So take your pick on that or watch both. Lots to digest, of course, and I'm sure many of you will want your say. With the new Arsenal, says Ag, I'm convinced officials are getting paid or at least have a thing for us. I see no other logical explanation now, says Addy. And Bruno will be our weakness, never subbed and shocking performances. Wingers are too greedy. I said before, Rashford won't get better. This is him, says Beat. And Ten Hag has had a mare. What is the Mount signing about? And Anthony is awful. I think it's time to accept now that I agree. Eric Ten Hag just picks players he knows. With transfers, nothing outside the box, says Sean Turner. Look, it's going to be open season on Ten Hag because we've lost badly. And we've lost already this season to a team that's predicted to have a transitional season themselves. And whatever you think about Spurs, and I don't think Spurs will finish in the top 8. Maybe that sounds silly now, but I'll stand by what I said at the start of the season. But in his first 2 months, Ange has got Spurs playing better organised football than United after 12 months under Ten Hag. And that's just where we are at the moment. Now, at times we were good under Ten Hag, but at the moment we've had, I'd say, 30 minutes in the first half where we played well. Crap against Wolves, crap in the second half. So a game and a half, we've been shit. Basuma was brilliant today, Cooper. He was brilliant against Brentford and he was brilliant again today. But they've got a good balance in their midfield. They've got Maddison, Sarr and Basuma. And the difference is they've got Sarr and Basuma who are workhorses and are good on the ball. We've got Casemiro and then you've got Mount and Bruno. It's a mismatch. Wolves did the same. They had 2 players in that midfield who were workhorses. Spurs have got 2 workhorses. We've got 1. Straight away, you know what's going to happen. You're going to win. You're going to lose the midfield battle at some point. Before the match, James Maddison is an overrated signing. Well, Mrs. Stone, I might need to remind you this, but I ain't Pele. And nobody is. I don't have the answers to everything. We can moan about the penalty all we want, but it won't change the fact that we've been shit. Look, it was a penalty, damn it, but it's not an excuse. It was 0-0 at half time. Here's Luke Shaw. He's got to go wide into Casemiro over the bar. Eric Ten Hag is the Dutch Ollie, says George. First time United lose here, says Nemo. Away record, absolutely shit again, by the way. Still 3 minutes to go. I mean, million miles. Oh, Varane, good save by the keeper. He was offside anyway. I mean, to be fair, every good chance we've had has been from a cross, hasn't it? He was offside. It's a good save by the keeper anyway. Not going to lie, but it was offside. Don't forget to do your player ratings, by the way. We'll go through that on the match reaction. I do think that there has been... I think Onana's done well. I think Varane's done well. I think Casemiro's put a shift in. I think he's been overrun, but I don't think... I think it's the same as the Wolves game. People will be critical of Casemiro, but he's doing a job on his own. I think Varane played well again. Onana's been relatively good. Martinez not at his best again. Palestri needs to pass. It's a foul on the edge of the box. He needed to pass that quicker. Edge of the box. Not going to be time. I know you don't rate him, but McTominay should start over Mount, says Paul. Mate, I mentioned that in the preview, Paul. You know, I'm not a big fan of McTominay, but at least he's physical. Like, you know, there's so much to talk about in the match reaction about Ten Hag, and unfortunately, a lot of it's going to be constructive criticism. Of course, it is, but we've learned nothing from last season. Like last season, learned nothing. I need to get this. I should have noted this down. We've learned nothing from last season because overrun in the midfield, away from home, 1-0 down becomes 2-0. Last season, sometimes it became 7-0. Like, Mount purchase is a disgrace. Offers nothing at all, says Charlie. Bruno over the bar. Clean sheet for Spurs as well. Fucking hell. Incredible. 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 You know what, though? If you've been watching the United stand all summer, I have said it. I do not think that this summer transfer window is good. I think it's been really bad. And it reminds me a lot of Mourinho's final summer, where he finished second. He needed proper investment and proper backing, and he didn't get it. And people will say, wow, what are you talking about? He's bought Mount, he's bought Onana, he's bought Højlund. But how many of those were his first choices? He wanted Kim Min-jae, he wanted Harry Kane. We've only sold, you know, Maguire's still here. Brandon Williams is still here. Dean Henderson is still here. There's so many players still here that shouldn't be. It's a mess, and that is an embarrassing loss for United. It's a deserved win for Spurs, as it would have been a deserved win for Wolves on Monday, but that is crap from United. Nothing learned. I think some fans need to calm down and stop losing their minds after 2 games. It's a better start than last season, says Jonathan, and we finished 3rd. Our play will change when we have an actual 9. Jonathan, I think your standards are in the mud, mate. We're Manchester United, and nobody this Saturday night should be sat there justifying that shit. We're Manchester United. Like, the standards have to be higher. You have to be critical when you lose like that. You can't just go, oh, it's an improvement on last year. Our mentality is not Everton's, it's Manchester United. Not so average gift to membership. Pele looks lively, signs of life from Sancho, but other than that, nothing good in that performance, says Andy Cheetham. Absolute domination in the second half. Absolutely disgusted with this performance. Lost for words, says David. A typical Manchester United away performance where we've been let down again. I'm going to be straight over onto the match reaction because I've got to be live at 8 o'clock on That's Football. So we'll get straight over onto the match reactions. Player ratings, links in the video description, but it's also in the video description over there. I'll see you in a minute.